Hey y'all, welcome back to Spirited Outdoors. Back really last year, I promised a medicinal plant book video. I don't know if we'll cover every book. I don't know if we're going to be able to cover every book in depth because y'all, since I promised that video, I have acquired more books. In fact, yesterday, the lady that works at the local thrift store, she called me and said, we just got a bunch of old vintage books in. Said, you'd probably be interested in them. This stuff you like. And y'all, I found, oh my Lord, classic Eastern editions, like somebody's library they had just brought up there and dumped out. And a lot of it was stuff I wasn't interested in. There was a lot of history stuff that I don't really get into, but there was a lot of classic novels. I love all that stuff. But I found this book yesterday, which is a Rodale's herb book, and these, y'all, I'll have to add clips in of these books. I tried to put a light on here and it's kind of somewhat blinding me, so I don't know how much of this you can see. The names, Rodale's is famous for, and I have Rodale's gardening books, and what you're seeing behind me here, this counter is where I pour pottery. That's why it looks dirty. But I pour my molds over here so it stays, everything turns white when you look at it. But this book right here, Rodale's, is gardening. That they have a lot of information, how to grow, how to do. It's like the complete gardener. Like this right here is Rodale's Encyclopedia to Organic Gardening. So I have all kind of gardening books down here. This right here would be a medicinal book on this shelf. That is a complete medicinal herbal by Penelope Odie, and it is a very good book. But this one, it has some plants through the back of it. It has how to grow them. I don't know a lot about this book right here, because I got it yesterday. So I have a lot of different books. I love books in general, and you see some of this stuff up here, like the world's great folk tales. I mean, I just like books of all different kind of stuff. So most of this section right here is my medicinal plant book. Before we get off into medicinal plants books, the best book for you, I realize everybody don't need a comprehensive library like I do. I enjoy studying it. You see up here, I have jars up here of medicinal herbs that I have dried, put in jars. I basically make teas for the most part. I have a few tinctures. I have not done a lot of medicine making videos, but I have done a little bit. But what do you expect and what are you planning on doing is what's going to determine, for the average guy or girl that is just wanting to doctor a few ailments. If you're relatively healthy and you're looking, plants to help with injuries or just sickness, common colds, ailments, just things that normally flare up, a book like this would do you. These books I'm finna pull out are a one-book option for everyday people. The Southeast Medicinal. Now this is going to be a regional book. Hang on. I turned the air conditioners off. I know my last video, the June bugs was screaming and they made racket the whole video. I thought about these air conditioners running. The Southeast Medicinal, these are going to be regional. In other words, they'll be probably northeast. I'm not sure exactly what all they have, but this is just medicinal plants from my area. I'm in Mississippi, so this is going to cover the things that just grow. It tells me how to make medicine, what to look for, good color pictures of these plants in there to help with identification. So, just for some basic medicine, this book is good. Now, this complete herbal, look at this, y'all. I mean, it's color, medicine, talks about garlic, the pot marigolds, cabbage, wild strawberries, meadowsweet, fennel, gravel root, eucalyptus, horsetail. But the deal with a lot of these, I know it's like vervain, thyme, valerian, mullein. And you see with mullein, you get pictures But so the problem with these books is they don't have every herb you're going to find. Excellent book. Lost Book of Herbal Remedies. Very good book. Color photos. Not great big photos, but how to make medicine. Now this book probably does better on telling you how to measure out stuff. Maybe a little bit into dosage. Also covers like the warnings. You see like right here it says warning. And I realize you can't read through that screen. So one book option, this, that one. Always these Peterson field guides, they're all regional. So this is going to cover a lot more stuff. Field guide, small, fits in your bag. I highly recommend you have these Peterson field guides anyway. They're a good one book option. It has how to make a lot of medicines. It does not go into a lot of good detail on making medicines. This is becoming one of my favorite books to just grab, find a plant. But, and that's going to be pretty well all of what I would just grab one book and it covered pretty much everything. Would be one of these four. The reason for this video, or part of the reason I'm doing it today, let me put it like that, is my friend Don Lanier called or texted me. We was messaging and he said, "Have you messed with any rabbit tobacco?" I said, "Yeah, matter of fact, I'm drinking a cup now. Mike Reed sent me some last winter. I have not found this plant here. I do feel like it is right here in my area. It is just not on my personal property, or was not so far. I haven't really been out yet this year just really hunting and researching plants. Thus, there's not been very many videos on medicinal plants yet. We're just now getting to plant harvest time. So this is a good time for this book video. So I do think I will find it, but he asked about it. So I go to looking in all these books. Rabbit tobacco is not in either one of these four books. I finally found it in this book. I found it online. Now this is Charles F. Millsfall. This is a very good book on plant medicine for North America. Thick book, covers a lot of stuff. The plates are hand-drawn, black and white. Okay for identification, not just excellent. This is the classic, vintage old stuff. They hand-drew everything. They did not have digital cameras when these books were made. This is a very old book. This is a recopy, but the book, the first book was written a long time ago. In fact, it's in museums. The copyright date, this one says 1974, but that is not the first copyright. 1892. So very old. They didn't have cameras at that point in time to take good digital pictures for you to identify plants. Some of the wording, somewhat old English. You're going to feel like they're misspelled. Well, they spelled things more like they sounded back then. It was a little different. So things are going to be spelled a little oddly in this book. Very good information. But what I discovered is when I found the plant that I was looking for, the rabbit tobacco, online, when you Google it, it has one name. In this book, when I found it, the scientific or Latin name was a different name. The name of rabbit tobacco changed somewhere through time between these books being written. Once I found the old name in that book, then I went to this book. This is the Native American Medicinal Plants, an Ethnobotany Dictionary. This book tells you what Native American tribe used each plant for what they used it for. So knowing what tribes were in your area helps you to know what plant they used for what in that area. And it is a pretty good sized book. And it is a very good book. There is no pictures in it whatsoever. You're not going to take this book as a one book option. This is an at-home library study. I get out here and I already know what the plant looks like. I'm trying to learn about it. This book. I love that book. Now next would be this Indian Herbology of North America. Very good book. This is close to a one book option, but it's got very vague pictures. It's not good for identification. But now pair this book with your picture this out, and you're good. You can take this book and a picture this out, and you're good to go. You can take your picture this out and this book, and you're good to go. Or this book. So you're eliminating neither one of these for identification purposes. You're just looking for information. Then you can go with it. And most everybody's taking a cell phone, so really pictures for identification is not really necessary anymore. And while we're discussing picture this seems to be better than iNaturalist to me. I have used both, and I just deleted iNaturalist. I'm not going to lie to you. I seen it had several wrong. It was a little more difficult to navigate. I'm using the free version of Picture This, so every time it comes up, I have to wait for it to load and then hit cancel up there, and then I can do what I need to do. Snap a picture. It has been wrong. Anytime you're using anything for take a picture of it, it gives you a name. You can't just say, okay, that's what that is. You need to do some research. You need to say, okay, I need to look at some more pictures of this and Google the pictures. And, I don't know, these couple of pictures look a little different. So you need to do some in-depth study. Y'all, please, before you take any medicine of any kind of plant, try a small amount of it. Rub it on tender parts of your skin, something. Because it may be correctly identified, you may have an allergic reaction to it. So you need to be careful with plants. If you happen to find a poisonous plant, the first thing I would say, identify pokeberry, because it is poisonous plant to a degree. In my opinion, it's just extremely medicinal. But somewhat poisonous, yes, too much of it, it'll kill you. So you need to know about it, know the harmful dangers of it. You need to know what poison hemlock is. You need to be able to correctly identify it. You need to know. That way you stay away from poisonous plants. Obviously, the poison ivies and poison oaks, you need to be able to identify them. There's a few other minor plants that can cause you pain. There's one I happened up on, look, it was one of the top 10 most poisonous plants in the world that I found on this property. It looks like a fern, and now I don't even, I can't remember the name of it, but I would know it if I see it. But anyway, with those books, you can get the information you need. And I'm trying to see now exactly what else I have, because this is an herbal medicine maker's handbook. Now, if you're going to get into, I'm making a bunch of tinctures, I want to know how to make my own medicine, I want to learn about making my own medicine, you need this book. This is a very good book, and it is paperback. I ordered most of these books on Amazon. I will link all of these books that I can find on Amazon to where you can go through my link. It helps me a little. If you're going to buy the book, buy it through my link. Help me out a little bit. I don't charge y'all for watching these videos. And then, obviously, this one that I just talked about, I don't know a lot about it. I do think I like it for transplanting and harvesting medicine, medicinal herbs, telling me where to grow them, but they're not going to cover every herb. And the one that really irked me was Lactuca canadensis and Lactuca floridana, which is the wild lettuce. Is not in a lot of these books. Now, it is in this one. I I'm not sure it's in, I think that's one of the things that I fell out with. Yeah, because it goes to yellow dock, yarrow, wood, witch hazel, willow, wild yam, wild sarsaparilla, wild hydrangea, wild ginger, wild cherry. I mean, but it did not have wild lettuce. And wild lettuce is one of the biggest, most sought after plants now because everybody discovered it's good for pain and it really does work. So, it's not in several of these books. I'm not sure now right off the top of my head what all it's not in. These two books are just Foraging, the Foraging Kitchen Handbook, Cooking. So if you're into foraging, these two books, this is Southeast Regional again. This is pretty much widespread. This is Mushrooms of the Gulf Coast. It has nothing about medicinal properties. It just tells you it might be edible, possibly edible, not edible, poisonous. But it is a good identification book for mushrooms. So we know that there's a few mushrooms out there that we like reishi, turkey tail, lion's mane. There are some medicinal mushrooms out there. So you need a good mushroom book. That one is Southeast or Gulf Coast states. It's regional. It's from my area. So anytime you buying a book, you need to look and know that this Southeast Medicinal Plants is regional, Peterson's Field Guide regional, this Gulf Coast regional, this Foraging book regional. Okay, now I have two books here. Three. This one is a good one book. Take in your pocket. Not a lot for identification. You see the pictures in it are just small drawings. Covers a lot of plants. It has over 2,000 listings in this small book. So this is the Herb book by John Lust. Very good book. Small book. Pocket handy book. Little small paperback. I'm sure it's in other copies, other sizes. I'm not sure. This just had to be one I ran up on at the thrift store again. A lot of these come from the thrift store. That one, these two, and this one I know. Now, I ordered some of these online. This, health tonics, elixirs, potions for the look and the feel of youth. I don't really have a strong opinion on this book. I did find some useful information in it. It has been a while since I've dug in it. It's one of those books you've just got to read. It is not here's a list of plants. What am I going to look up in it? So, and then using plants for healing is very similar. But it has some, you can go through, it is listed plants. And it's a lot like the herb book. So you have a name of a plant, and I realize now I covered the plant listings up. I'm trying to help you just see, what to expect, because when you buy a book online, you have no idea what you're getting. So, good books, depending on where you are. Like I said, for one book options, and I was going to do mild medicine, I wasn't really trying to in-depth study every plant that I could find. Probably one of these four here. Possibly add this one. It's a good, covers a lot of plants, tells you a little bit about what it does and what it is, properties and uses. This book, the herb book, actually does have dosage in it. It'll tell you at the bottom, make a syrup, make a poultice. The syrup, steep 1 teaspoon in 1/2 cup of boiling hot water. It's horseradish. Tells you how to make. So you're looking at having a little bit of medicine making in this book. So it's a good book. And I have to put my books back in the order I want them. So out of all these books, my favorite. Now I can't put this one in my favorites because I really hadn't dug into it a lot. I don't have a big opinion of it right yet. Medicine Maker's Handbook. I'm going to go ahead and put it back up here because it's not a one book option. This is a very good book, but compared to some of these other ones, I like it because it tells me about the Native Americans. I know which Native American tribes used it for what. but it's more of a research sitting here at the house book. I'm back down to these 4. This one is very good, but it don't cover very many plants. It has a lot more detail, a lot more how to make the medicine. It goes into the plants that it does cover, it's probably beating them out on, okay? Get that. But it just don't have enough plants in it for me. And it covers a lot of household, basil. Plantains here, primrose is here, but you got rhubarb, which it covers self-heal. You've got rose, which is just regular old rose from the yard, from the flower garden, which still legitimate medicinal plants that you can use for stuff. So it don't have a lot of the wild herbs that I'm looking for out in the woods. That's why I take this book and put it back over here now. This is a very good book from my area. If you just want to make medicine, it's probably between this one and this one. If you just want a book to make a little medicine, I don't need to know every plant there is. I don't have to look up every plant I run across. One of these books. And I'm probably going to lean toward this one because of its ability to tell you how to make medicine. It covers a little bit more plants. It's a little bigger and floppier. I don't like a big thin book. I would have liked for them to made it thicker and smaller, more into this shape. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's a good book, and it's got color photos all the way through everything. So for my one book option, and I'm not going to depend on just this because this don't have a lot about the medicine. It just tells what it'll do. It don't really have how to make the medicine. So I'm going to put it back up for now. I would go with this for a one book deal. Okay, now I'm going to say my other companion is I'm going to take this book and I'm going to identify with my phone, with pictures, with the internet, with whatever. And that's what most everybody's doing. This book is it's probably got more plants in it, has dosage in it. Probably this would be the other way I would go. However, this is an old traditional medicine book. Has a lot of information in it. A little difficult to read for the average reader, but now you got to remember I am a fan of King James Bible. I am a fan of William Shakespeare. I like Old English. It does not bother me not one bit for that written in here like this. And it's hard for me to sit here and describe exactly because it's not like really, really thick like you see some of the stuff. So let's just look up a one in here. Let's look up Lobelia cardinalis. So right here we look and we find Lobelia cardinalis. It's going to say 97 on here. Okay, well, first off, you're going to think, there's 660 pages. That's not true. So you got to look at the plate. It says plate. This is page 660, but it's plate 164. So we're looking for, what did I even say it was now, y'all? I done lost. 97. We're looking for plate. So in brackets up here, 121, we're looking for 97. 97 right here. Lobelia cardinalis. The one right before it is Lactuca canadensis, so it has wild lettuce in it. I did discover that this book does not have goldenrod in it for whatever reason. I've got to do some research. I didn't realize that until I started researching this. But Lobelia cardinalis. So you see you got plate. And then it tells you description. This showy perennial grows to a height of 2 to 4 feet. Stem minutely pubescent. Glabrous, commonly simple. Leaves oblong, ovate to oblong, lanceolate. It goes through describing pretty much. So it's not, every one of these is not like terrible. And then you have a plate of it. So it's not overly in depth about its medicine and how to make medicines. So it's up to you. If I was going to dig, if I was going to buy the books I wanted, this would probably be still my top. This a close second. These would be the two books. If I didn't have anything, I would want these two. Okay. And y'all, this lost book of herbal remedies, I will still be adding books to this list probably as time goes on. I like books. This lost book of herbal remedies is a very good book. Covers a lot of basic stuff, covers a lot of the United States, and I'm sure some of these plants grow in other parts of the world. Just common sense tells me that. It does cover a few mushrooms. It has a few of the reishi, the lion's mane, some of your basic stuff. I do not know if turkey tail is in here. I want to think that turkey tail is, and that is important, y'all, when a book covers medicinal properties, the first couple of mushrooms that you need, because you don't need a whole medicinal mushroom book. Turkey tail is in here on page 275, 278. So there we go. There's turkey tail mushroom. Has a picture. So really, you can just about take this book, do mainly what you're going to do. So anyway, I'll put links to all of these books in here. I appreciate you guys sticking with me through this video. I know it may have gotten kind of long, and I probably didn't get good photos, good video of all this. I just wanted to talk about these videos and tell you what I thought about each one of those books. I have all kind of books on gardening and stuff, y'all. I'm going to link a website that I use on my phone. It is one of the better websites that I have found, so I keep it bookmarked. And you can search plants in this particular website by common name or by scientific name. I tend to lean toward scientific names on most things because they're the same throughout. Like rabbit tobacco. Rabbit tobacco is also known as sweet balsam. It is known as something else. Sweet everlasting. It has a couple of different names. Well, you've got to look through several different common names to find which one that book is using. When if you do know the scientific name, that's the easiest thing. It's going to be the same most of the time throughout books. So I tend to lean towards scientific Latin names. But that's just my preferred way of doing things. But this website, you can search by Latin name or you can search through common name. And it's generally, you can find what you're looking for. It does not have a lot of real good pictures for identification. But if you're using your phone, you have Google for that. Or whatever search engine you use. If you're using whatever else. I just happen to use Google. So that is a viable option, but make sure, y'all, when you're going to dig into medicinal plants, I always try to find it in a couple of these books. That's why I'm not really a one book person. I want to find it online. Usually, first thing I do is take a picture of it. We'll picture this, and I look at it, and it tells me all about it. But I don't run with that, okay? Then I go and I Google it, and I look at some images and I look at different pictures. I pull up this website that I use and I read what it has to say, and then I usually start grabbing whichever one of these books I decide to dig in, and I look through several of them and I find common things about it. Now that is when I am seriously fixing to harvest this plant, finna use it. Now I am bad to just sit down one afternoon when I just want to look through one of these books and pick one of them and just look through it, what it says about this plant. Flip over, what does it say about this plant? Maybe several plants that I have just rode around and snapped. One of my hobbies is to get on the buggy and ride around and, oh, what is that? Take a picture of it. And I usually take a couple of pictures of it, and I'll picture this, okay, and then I'll file it away, and I'll go on, oh, there's another, and I take a picture, and when I get home, I have my iPhone with several good photos of a picture, what it pulled up as, and then I'll look through, okay, I found these few plants. So there's several different methods of learning this stuff if you're interested in it. And y'all, I think medicinal plants is a very important thing, especially if you're healthy. Now, y'all, I'm not trying to suggest you need to get off your medication and start taking this. This is one of those things that is strictly up to you. I'm not a doctor, okay? I'm just trying to help some of you if you are looking for medicinal plants to find your way through it. So thank y'all for watching Spirit of the Outdoors. I appreciate all of you for following along, watching these boring videos like this one, but I think maybe it helps some of you that are maybe wanting to choose a book. So thank y'all for watching, and we'll see you next time. Remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. And we'll see y'all.